Summit that is currently ongoing at the KICC. Currently speaking is Chief Justice David Maraga. Let's listen in.
From its past struggles to a more progressive agenda, the region dedicated its focus and mission to attaining the Pan-African vision of an integrated, prosperous, and peaceful Africa, driven by its own citizens, representing a dynamic force in the international arena. The specific objectives of the African We Want, also known as Agenda 2060, include shared and inclusive socioeconomic prosperity, unity, peace, and security, people-driven governance, democracy, accountability, and Africa's prominence in the global arena. It is my belief that with undivided commitment, sober planning, and ingenuity, we will collectively make great strides towards achieving the pillars of Agenda 2063 as laid out by the African Union leadership. It is not every day that you will find legal professionals and other professionals gathered in a forum such as this with a specific and primary objective of reflecting on their contribution to the aspirations and the goals of the continent. This is a unique opportunity for all of us to discuss and agree on our individual and collective contribution in making our region a better place. I thank the organizers and the leadership of the African Power Association once again for facilitating this opportunity to enable us have this discussion. The aspirations contained in Agenda 2063 are neither random nor haphazardly chosen, but are born of specific challenges that the continent has undergone over the past several decades. As a continent, we have undergone experiences that clearly demonstrate that if we want to achieve development, there is a corresponding need to ensure inclusiveness and respect for the rule of law all over the continent. Within the development field in Africa, justice and the rule of law are often regarded as afterthought, with little attention paid to developing and integrating relevant law and governance-oriented strategies. 50 years of Africa trying to deliver development on a democratic platform has ended up in monumental failure, evidenced not just by Africa's declining human development indicators, anemic GDP growth rates, rising poverty, declining household incomes, both in absolute and per capita terms, deepening vertical income and horizontal inequalities. Indeed, if there is one conclusion that can be drawn from this experience, is that constraining freedom in Africa has only yielded failed economies, frail states, and fragmented societies wrecked up by conflict and war. In post-independence Africa, where there has been little or no really regard for democracy, even the minimal development achieved has been spatially skewed, generally concentrated in urban centers that are already relatively well developed, and less so in other areas, creating imbalances and asymmetries in development that trigger political conflicts. All this has left a large portion of the African population ethnically fractious, illiterate, and steeped in economic, social, and cultural polarization. However, there is a turning point in the thinking about the role of law in Africa's development. This is captured in the theme of the conference, Africa, Socio-Economic and Political Future, African Union's Agenda 2063 in Perspective, as well as the pillars of governance that are enunciated in Agenda 2063. Indeed, Africa has long committed itself to a regional development agenda which comprises of numerous human rights and governance instruments that call for the respect of the rule of law, basic human rights, equality, and good governance. The only way that these regional standards and aspirations can be achieved is through a broad-based commitment, especially at the national and subnational levels, to the said standards. Many of the states in the region have committed to this regional agenda for socio-economic transformation. In its 2010 constitution, Kenya, for instance, adopted a progressive Bill of Rights, which comprises of economic, social, and cultural rights. As a result, socio-economic development is not a mere aspiration, but a duty and responsibility that the state owes its citizens. The judiciary is a critical organ in the realization of this promise, and we are undertaking extensive reforms to ensure access to justice. This includes leveraging on technology to enhance access to justice and the rule of law. We are also ready and eager to learn from the experiences of friends across the continent, and this explains the judiciary's readiness to partner with the African Bar Association in hosting this important event. As I said earlier, members of the bar and the bench have considerably little time outside their chambers to debate and have a practical understanding of their role in society. We now have a forum outside the rigors of legal practice or court work to reflect on what role or a positive contribution we can make to our continent's progress. I want to end, ladies and gentlemen, with a quote from President Atfit, the third president of Kosovo, who once said, and I quote, "When there is information, there is enlightenment. When there is debate, there are solutions." End of quote. I therefore encourage and appeal to all of us to take time to debate, share, reflect, re-energize, and dedicate efforts towards our collective aspirations as legal professionals in the continent. Once again, I take this opportunity to welcome all of you to Nairobi, and I want to wish this conference fruitful deliberations. With those few remarks, ladies and gentlemen, it is now my singular honor and a pleasure to invite the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Honorable Ruto, to address this conference. Your Excellency.